Hey guys, it's the end of June. We're out in the greenhouse checking out some of the crops we got growing this year. These are the 2 watermelons that came up as volunteers for the ones we had here last year. So getting good number of female flowers there. Still waiting for the first confirmed set. You can see this one. It's dropped its flower, but it's not swelling much, so that'll probably shrivel up and die. I don't think that's gonna be one. But yeah, there's another female flower. So we should get one soon. And we're growing these in single stem, single cordon, so still pinching out all of the secondary growth. You can see this tomato. It's the one we trimmed off all of the other flowers on this truss, other than this really big one. And we should get a nice beefsteak tomato out of that. And some varieties just do that naturally, and you can see on this one there's kind of 3 large ones. You could take a couple of these off to give more energy into one big one. But this one produces nice ones anyway. You can see the size of that flower there. And those were also growing single stem up with these guidelines. So the pepper's doing really well. This melon, seems like I'm probably gonna need to replace that seed, because all the other ones we seeded that day have come up, but this one hasn't. It's the golden honeymoon. Yeah, I don't see any movement there. So it's, you know, some seeds don't last very long, and we'll just have to replace that with something else. You can see how well these eggplants have been doing. There's a flower there. And this is the pepper that we're kind of training out using this little cage. And this one, we did have at least 1 seed come up. This is the hoodoo melon. So yeah, probably just getting old seed. This eggplant's doing really well. And well, you know what? This golden honeymoon, we did get a bunch coming up. That's weird. So maybe we'll transplant one of these back over there. Let's see, and then this is the other hoodoo here. You can see all of these wood lice eating a dead tomato branch here. See, this is one of the ones that came up a volunteer. Looks like it's some type of cross that was just naturally made. And you can see what else tomatoes do sometimes is they put out suckers, so secondary growth at the end of the flowering truss. So you can see that here. So this could potentially turn into a whole new branch. So we want to get rid of that. So these cucumbers come up. Doing much better with slugs now that it's gotten warmer. These watermelons come up too. This is Black Diamond. Getting good tomato set here. Everything's doing really well. So eventually we will split it into two. So maybe like halfway up or something. And you can see the best sucker that you can pick, best secondary growth you can pick to make a second stem is always going to be one just below a flower truss. And you can see how strong this one's already competing with the main growth, which is this here. So I think I'm going to take this out right for now though. You could try to root that if you wanted another plant. Oh yeah, you can see that happened here on this tomato. Just caught my eye here. You have this flower truss here, and then out of the end of it, started growing this branch. It's ridiculous. So I'll have to come in and cut that off. Smells good though. There's another second sucker, so tomatoes do back bud pretty well. Here's the first one I cut out of here, and I grew another one. We have some beans that are coming up. I might try to feed those up on top of these water barrels. This barley that I planted as a kind of a shield for the citrus plant here, which got really burnt. It's been doing really well. And we've cropped some of it down and used it as mulch elsewhere. Or you could use it as chicken feed. But anyway, you know, having roots in the ground is always a good thing. You're stimulating the soil food web. You're growing soil in essence. And we got some watermelons. Those are Congo. Probably crossed to something. Those ones I collected myself from something that I grew in here last year. And you can see the elephant with all its graft here is doing kind of worse and worse. It does seem to be kind of recovering, but at the same time it's lost two of its rootstock branches. So there was one here and one here that shriveled off, and now actually the only remaining rootstock growth is this little branch here. You can see it's also done the same thing with this lemon sour diesel graft, which is like this here. I've already cut a piece of it off, and it looks like this will die as well. I mean, some of this looks like it might be growing, but I don't know. So what I've done is a few days ago I started another graft plant. So that one's clementine, I think is the rootstock. And I have a bunch of diesel strains and some other stuff, and I think I have the two strains that are on here, Chemdog and Shiskaberry as well. So I might try to quickly graft those on and replace this. And one that definitely worked is this lemon sour diesel. And look at this thing, it's huge. Probably in its longest direction here, I would say it's a good 4 feet. Still keeping it close to the ground. It's not much more than 2 foot high. Let's see, you can see our typical daily highs and lows here. Yeah, everything's doing really well. Let's see, the grafts, out of the grafts, only this jack hair graft here is the only one that is just starting to catch up. Everything's starting to swamp it out, so I'm constantly having to bend stuff over or trim stuff out to give this one light, hoping that it will catch up. You can see right next to it here is a sweet lemon graft, and just look at the difference in the stalks there. This one's doing really well. That's that here. And same with Chili bean. That's starting to grow really well as well. I'm kind of bending it over and want it to kind of take up some of this middle space. This is lemon sour diesel, and will probably go eventually. It'll be a good cutting to try to root. So yeah, we're doing really well, I think. Again, the elephant is this whole section here, and I've cut out a bunch. You can see this whole side has been cut out to give room to the Fire OG and the Gorilla Glue number 4, which are these 3 branches here. You can see we're using these little bamboo poles to give some training until they've reached the cage. So let's see, we took off a cut here recently. You can see it was actually quite hollow. So hopefully that won't be an issue. At the moment that is kind of an opening for stuff to get in, but it should be okay. And you can see these other branches have basically taken over, and it's like nothing's even happened. And we've done actually a couple trimmings on this already. And finally we have our 2 volunteer sunflowers that the chickens planted. This one I'm letting a bunch of side branches go. Kind of taking some out, leaving some. This one I grew single stem, and you can see it's already in flower. Smells really nice. And up that huge thick stalk, growing a tomato. Dill should be ready for harvesting the seed pretty soon. Yeah, everything's doing really well. Alright, thanks for watching guys, and we'll see you in the next one.